Hello, and welcome back to, welcome back. We're just back again, basically. Welcome back to FRLT assists. That's honestly all I can say is welcome back, guys. It's great to be back. Interesting. We've got a very interesting week ahead of us. I must say, we do have a very interesting week ahead of us. But yeah. We've got one driver who's struggling to get in. Same driver we've had for a few weeks now. I'm not sure whether it's just me being stupid and I'm just not looking properly, which is rather likely that I'm just not looking properly or correctly. Might just be me. It's just I don't see anybody right now. I'm not sure whether I'm just missing the person entirely. Am I just missing the person? Very likely, I am just missing the person entirely. Didn't get. We are just missing two drivers now. I'm not sure why, but we're waiting on one driver to get into the lobby. Again, it's the same driver. I've had the same problem with this driver for the last couple of weeks, I guess, of getting them in, and for some reason I haven't been able to. I don't know why I haven't been able to get this person in at all in the last couple of weeks, but just don't seem to be able to get in. So yeah, there's about a minute. I'm not sure why, but one driver just doesn't seem to come up on my list for the ID that they give every week. And it's actually starting to annoy me a bit that it's the same driver every week that doesn't. They say they've got me added, but they're not in my friends list. So I'm not sure if that's just me then that's having problems. But I can't find them under the ID they give. I can't find the person, so. Also, by the way, guys, hopefully audio sounds okay. I'm not sure why, but my mic seems a bit quiet today. So if it is or if it isn't, please let me know. If it is quiet, please let me know. If it isn't, please let me know as well if it's fine. But yeah, interesting. But let's go through a couple of things because we do have a couple of things to look at. First is the calendar. Belgium and Monza have gone past. It is time for round number 3, Las Vegas. I've got to say it's going to be very interesting. First American race of the season and the only American race of the season. As you can see, we've also got Mexico for round 4, then Austria for round 5, then Singapore round 6, then it is Abu Dhabi for round 7, and it is in Great Britain for round number 8, Jeddah round number 9, and Brazil for round number 10 of the season. Looking at the track map, it is 6.120 kilometers, 3.803 miles, 17 turns, 2 DRS zones down the first straight, and then down the main straight, so down this back straight and the main straight. Looking at the standings, AZR continue their championship lead at the top only by a small 8 points, but they still lead on 49 points ahead of AMS, who pulled themselves up into second with a good finish last week in Monza. SET as well had a very strong finish last week and got back on the podium once again this season, and ultimately pulled themselves up into third in the championship, exactly where they finished for the past 2. Last season they finished second, the previous season they finished third in assists, so back to where they should be. AERT had a tough week, but they only dropped 2 places in the championship, holding on to that 4th ahead of JSR, who also had a good week up to 5th. OMB as well having a slow week, both those teams struggling to get away. UFRT as well pulling away quite well in the end. Coming to qualifying though, it's looking very interesting indeed. It is looking incredibly interesting. I have to say it is looking very interesting on track because it is raining. It is raining. There's light rain, so for the first, I think, time for assists, it's going to be raining in qualifying. We have not had this before, so this is going to be interesting as we watch on with, I think, a lot of the drivers. You see, that's a strange one. I can't seem to find Lucas Cull in my friends. I know I've got him friended. I just can't seem to find him. But the first driver out on the track is Marcos Guerrero, out on the intermediate tyres. It is intermediate tyre weather, indeed. So I can confirm that. So we have got them out on track this evening already. Marcos Guerrero is the first, and he's out very early, by the way. Already a minute into qualifying, but he is out onto the track here tonight. Earliest out there, I think we've got an Aston Martin on the way out. That would be, I think it's going to be one of the TDR drivers. It is going to be, who is it going to be? Lucas Colors in. It's going to be Shadow, as Marcos Guerrero misses a corner, by the way. And he does invalidate his lap, of course. It is just an out lap, though. So we're going to have to wait and see how that's going to be. But it's looking interesting so far. I have to say, it is looking rather interesting. Quite a few more drivers now pouring out on the track. This evening, though, is very important. Will AZR hold on to their championship lead out of Las Vegas? Will they make it a 4th race of holding the championship lead? Will they make it a 4th race in a row? They've held it from round number 11 of assists in Season 6 to round... They've held it all the way now to round number 2. So they've held it for 3 races. Can they make it a 4th race in the lead of the championship? Consecutive races in the lead. The longest, of course, I think has been AMS, who have held the championship for the longest in a row, which I think has been a total of 12 races. 12 races in a row, which is the longest out of any team. But let's ride on board with Marcos Guerrero as he makes his way round, heading down the pit straight. Very short pit straight already into turn 1, locking the tyres quite a bit, sliding through that first corner. Of course, the rain, something I don't think a lot of people would have predicted for this race through the long turn 2. You can see how much slower it is in the wet conditions now, making his way up and down this long back straight into turn number 3. You've got to get the corner right, drifting into turn 3. You can see he's absolutely fighting the car as he makes his way around. And through this little sector, there's a slow Alpine going slow to let him by, but he's really struggling to get turn in there. You can just see that car does not want to turn into the corners. It's really difficult. This street track proving to be quite tough. Of course, it's the first street track of the season as well for these teams. All 20 drivers in, full grid. Is it going to be raining for the race? That's the big question. I think we're gonna see teams be. It's gonna be an interest to see if it's raining for the race, as well. I think it's very much gonna show the pace of everybody. But if it's dry for the race, we might be seeing a massive change in the grid's pace. So far, it's been an okay lap for Marcos Guerrero, but nothing special so far. No DRS, of course, so it's lap time even slower. But getting to almost 200 miles per hour down this main straight anyway, and into the left-hander again, drifting. You can just see that Sauber does not want to turn at all. ESPL not getting the best out of their car. I think we've seen so far this season they haven't been able to get the best out of their car at all so far in the opening 2 races. Looks like in round 3 it's going to be a 1 minute 42.172, but it looks like in round 3 again they're struggling. They're very much struggling to get the best out of their car so far. And they're proving it again this week, I think, that there's some struggle to get performance out of the car. We have Shadow making his way down to the line next. Quite a big gap, of course, between Marcos Guerrero and the next driver on a lap. And across the line, it's going to be even quicker, a lot quicker for Shadow. A 1 minute 40.250 on the dot. That's beaten by Sasoi very quickly to a 39.591. Finding about another 0.7 of a second there in lap time. Janus Mayboom goes slow. Tua goes into P1 and provisional pole with a 1 minute 39.236. Daniel Maas goes P2. We saw Janus Mayboom go P7. Heinze went P6. Cod Camper goes P4. Pascal Gill went P5. Sasoi down in P3 now. I think we've just seen Scorsese cross the line in 7th. So we've got quite a few drivers crossing the line now. We're going to be waiting to see who jumps up the order and who is finishing a lap. But so far, Tua, fastest of all. TDR on top at the moment. Yannick Asaris goes to P2 into a 39.2 as well. Closest to the TDR driver so far, which is very interesting. It's very interesting to say nonetheless, but Lucas Cull, I think, is the next driver. It's either Lucas Cull or it is Kiki. It is Kiki who's making his way up to the line. Let's see what he can do. When he crosses the line, it's going to be P5 and into the top 5, pushing Cod Camper out of that prime position, of course. Lucas Cull is making his way around. It was not a good lap from Janus Mayboom, though. Slowest of all by quite a bit. Lucas Cull goes P7, ahead of Pascal Gill. So a strong lap indeed. Portuguese Beast crosses the line in P9. So again, JSR not looking the best in qualifying so far. Definitely haven't looked like they're the best in qualifying. Janus Mayboom's coming across the line. Janus Mayboom goes quickest of all. 1 minute 39.038. And a very strong lap indeed. I think we've got Sasoi who's going on another push lap here. Daniel Maas crossed the line. He doesn't improve. So we're waiting to see who crosses the line next. Who is crossing the line next? It is Gogo Denez who's making his way round. He's just doing his first lap now as Steph goes into P6 and a strong lap. Aaron P3 beaten by Lewin Skiller to a 38.770. Definitely the lap times coming down. It's very interesting so far. Lewin Skiller on provisional pole. JSR looking good, but at the moment I think it is very much anybody for themselves right now. It is very close between absolutely everybody. Finley has invalidated his lap, so clearly he's not been able to get the run he needs so far. Looking further ahead to Kiki. On a slow lap as well from Kiki there. Not what he was looking for. I think we've got Marcos Guerrero on another slow lap. He's not been pushing quickly. Lucas Calvo, I don't think has been pushing quickly either. He's been quite slow on this run. Very slow on this run indeed. Shadow, though, up to the line, improving by quite a bit. Shadow goes P3 to a 39.1 and a very strong lap indeed. Portuguese Beast has been going slowly on his lap. Daniel Maas is improving. Janus Mayboom pulls into the pits. We look to P7. That was Daniel Maas who did pull into the pits there. He decides it's time. Sasoi running slowly. He's going on another lap. I think he is actually going on another lap here. So interesting to see quite a few drivers changing and going all over the place. DRS is enabled. It is dry time. It is JSR on top at the moment. Just for now, it is JSR on top. Only for now, though. only for now. And with it going to being dry, what changes are we going to see? Marcos Guerrero is still yet to it's still Gogo Dennis and Finley yet to complete a lap in this session. Only 2 drivers without a lap. Marcos Guerrero still down in 18th and last at the moment, but a lot of drivers making their way in. Tua has come out on a set of intermediates. Interesting choice since it has dried up. Very interesting choice indeed. AERT Aaron is making his way around on his intermediates. He feels it's still too wet to go back in, but I think we're seeing a lot of drivers make their way back in as Marcos Guerrero goes quickest of all, 38.0. His teammate Lucas Cole can't beat that to a 38.5. But now, for the first time this season, we've actually got ESPL on top. It's the first time all season we've seen that, but it's definitely proven to be an interesting qualifying session. Nonetheless, we got Sassoy, who's also on a lap. His teammate, of course, down in 19th. AMS not having the best of qualifying sessions so far behind their main rivals, AZR. But Sassoy across the line goes quickest of all on the intermediates to a 1 minute 37.198. And a strong lap indeed. We've got Janez Mayboom, who's come out on the soft tyres. So he's chosen to come out on the soft tyres. He's gone for that dry tyre running. So of course, he feels it's soon enough. But this is now interesting because half of qualifying has basically gone to waste for the teams. That's the thing you've really got to think about is this sort of first half of qualifying has really just gone to waste because now it's dry running. And, you know, that's what's really going to hurt is that the sort of data collection, the idea of where teams are completely going to disappear now. Because, you know, we have AMS quickest with Sassoy. We've then got ESPL second and third. You know, I don't think second and third would be ESPL. You know, I think we've also got TDR who are showing incredible pace on sort of in wet conditions. They're showing absolutely blistering pace on the sort of intermediate tyres so far, 6th and 8th at the moment. One of the teams lower down in the standings. Tua is pushing on his inters. He's very much going for it. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting one to look at. We've got Janez Mayboom, who's going to be the first on a lap. He's going to be pushing. Let's ride on board with Janez Mayboom. We know he's got a great history of winning races, of course, here in FRLT, and he's had a really good record so far over the last season. Into turn 1 he goes. He's not going to face much traffic, but you can see it's trying to get used to it's really trying to get used to the dry conditions now and try and make his way around because it's clearly still a little bit slippery. Still the tyres aren't completely there for Janez Mayboom for the moment, but we'll have to see as he makes his way around. What is this first sector going to be? How much quicker is this first sector going to be? Let's see. It's 1.7 seconds quicker, so it is already onto the front row with that first sector time. That's the important thing. But look at how much sliding Janez is having. I think it's a clear sign that still the track isn't completely dry as of yet. It's not dry enough just yet here in qualifying so far. It's still there. It is still wet in place. You can see there it's a little bit wet. Definitely on corner exits, it's proving to be a bit of a problem. Up by 3.3 seconds now. So definitely going to be into about a 35. I'm saying I think we're going to see about a 1 minute 35 from Janez Mayboom on his lap. I think we're definitely going to be seeing a 35, maybe a 34. So we're getting a lot closer to that dry tyre time. I mean, bringing it down by almost 5 seconds would be massive to see from these guys. I mean, in a session to turn it around from 1 minute 42s we were seeing at the start now to 1 minute 34s would be massive. And across the line, it is going to be a 1 minute 34.286 to set the pace. That is the pace to beat now here tonight. Let's see, can anybody respectively beat that time or not? That's the question. That is very much what we're going to be looking for. That's something really to look for is can anybody actually beat that lap time? Daniel Mass is making his way around. He's also improving massively. Daniel Mass goes quickest of all, 1 minute 33.999. That's beaten by Yanni Casares to a 1 minute 33.989, a 100th of a second quicker. And there goes Daniel Mass having a half spin. Cod Camper does a 34.4, so he's a bit off of the pace, but P4 nonetheless. still looking incredibly close at the moment. Lewin Skiller across the line. Lewin Skiller fastest of all. 1 minute 33.884. It is very much, I think we're just going to see times tumble down. Steph goes quickest. 33.770. These times are just coming down. Go Dennis! 33.615. Shadow can't beat any of that, but Shadow does go P3 with a 33.847. And I think qualifying has just started to heat up a bit more with 3 minutes and 52 seconds left on the clock till the end. These drivers are going to be racing round to be able to get in their laps. But at the moment, very much, I've got to say, AZR looking like they're in a bit of a danger zone. They've just dropped behind one of their rivals. They're down in P6 and P7 for the moment. That's not where I don't think that's where AZR would want to be at the moment, because I mean it's not bad points, it's still 15, but at the moment Finley goes a lot quicker. 1 minute 33.256. So we've just seen the times come down even further. Another 4/10 found over Gogo Dennis. So definitely, I think a dry track now. I think we're very much starting to see a dry track. But SET look like they could be taking a pole here in a race that, I'm going to be honest, I did not expect to see SET take pole at the moment. But that's a big time gap. Can anybody make it up? That's the big question, is can anybody do it? And that is just blatantly cutting a corner, which is not allowed. It's not allowed at all. Only 5 drivers out on track, and pretty much all of them are coming in to the pits. I think Finley's left it a bit late, I've got to say. I think he has left it quite late, and you can see he's cutting corners, which isn't allowed. I'm very sorry to say it's not allowed, and you can report it. It is reportable for cutting corners. So this could lead to penalties in the race for them if anybody does decide to report it, which would be horrendous for SET. I've got to say it would be horrendous for them to get penalties for either this race or the next, just because of that. But we've already got a ton of drivers on out laps at the moment, because only the top 9 have actually done laps in the dry conditions. Only the top 9. The other 11 drivers yet to do a lap in the dry conditions. But Tua is the first one out on a lap. Let's see how he can do, because I'm interested to see how he's going to do on his lap. But I think an Alpine's just flown past him. And that is the Alpine of Kiki, who's decided to get a move on. He wants to get to the line. And of course, this is almost going to be last to the line. It's going to be last gasp. Shadow is out. Shadow's retired. Gogo Dennis has retired. Finley's retired. They don't have time to get to the grid, I don't think. I think they've just realized they don't have time to get to the grid. That is unlucky for them, because I think we're going to see them drop down the order. So that is an SET, an AMS, and TDR already out. So down to 17 drivers left in this session. I think Steph is going to be rushing around the track, same as Lewin Skiller. I don't think either of them are going to get to the flag in time. But Kiki is making his way round. So let's ride on board with Kiki on his lap. Let's see what he can do heading into turn number 1. You've got to get this corner right down. A little bit wide there, but definitely carrying a lot more speed than what we saw from Gergo, and what we also saw from Lewin Skiller and Yanni Casares earlier, carrying a lot more speed through this first section. And heading down towards turn number 3 now. You've got to get this corner right. It can be difficult at times to get this corner right, because the wall is so close. A little bit of scraping against the wall, but it's up by 3.8 seconds already. So we're already seeing nearly 4-second improvements. So we're already seeing into the 35s. So I think very much Finley, Gogo Dennis, Steph, all that top 9, I think, are all at risk. Yaz Maybohm has crossed the line in time. Is there anybody who's going to miss the line here? This is the big question. Only 2 drivers, I think, are going to miss the line, and it's going to be Steph. It is Steph and Lewin Skiller who have missed the line, so that is the top 5 all out from qualifying already. So let's see, 7 seconds found from Kiki. So definitely we're going to see a lot of change if Kiki is doing this lap already here in qualifying. And we could just see a McLaren is stop. Oh my God! And that McLaren has not been ghosted. Holy hell. I do not know what the game is doing there. Oh my god. What have we just seen? What have we just seen for Kiki? Absolutely annihilated down the straight. And across the line, Scorsese goes fastest, 31.240. I don't know what to say. The game has just decided to do something very different. Tour across the line goes to a 30.2. And a very, very strong lap indeed. Sasoi goes P2. Heinze in P4. It's all going insane. Pascal Gil goes onto the front row. Portuguese Beast goes first. Vilius Lastauskas goes into fourth. Sasoi fifth. I think Daniel Maybaum. Oh my. Yanez Maybaum. Daniel Mas goes quickest. Marcos Guerrero second. Yanni Casares third. And in the end, I believe it's AZR on pole with Daniel Mas. Oh my god. I don't know what we've just seen. Daniel Mas, yeah, on pole position by 0.007 of a second. Ahead of Marcos Guerrero, Yanni Casares, then Portuguese Beast, followed by Tua, Pascal Gil, Vilius Lastauskas, Aaron, Sasoi, Yanez Maybaum, Scorsese, Lucas Carl, Heinze, Finley, Gogo Dennis, Steph, Shadow, Lewin Skiller, Cod Camper, and Kiki. But oh my god, what a... Absolutely, just no words for what we've just seen. I don't know what's happened there at the end of qualifying. I feel bad for Kiki there because that would have been, I think, top 10. So really unlucky. But AZR on pole for, I think it's the first time this season. I think, maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember. So drivers have about a minute to ready up. So yeah, drivers have about a minute to ready up. I accidentally typed 39 instead of 29. But teams won't have long to get ready. They have about a minute to get ready for the race. So that's change setup, get ready. This is what's really going to be interesting now, this race start, because we've got drivers like Marcos Guerrero, who in previous races we know hasn't been up there in that sort of top 5, sort of nowhere really close to it. So have we got drivers out of position? I think the chaos at the end definitely caused drivers to be out of position, but now the big question, who is actually going to jump up the order? Because AMS not looking great. AZR's looking on the better side of it, no doubt. They are looking better. I very much do feel like AZR needed to very much be in front of AMS to hold on to it. Will they make it a 4th race? Can they beat the record 12 races in the championship lead from AMS and FG? Can they do it? We'll have to wait and see. But we're going to wait and see how it's going to go, because I think it's going to be a lot of chaos at the end. I very much think it's going to be a lot of chaos at the end tonight. I do think we're going to see a lot of chaos indeed going on. So we should be getting ready any moment. So, I mean, I think we've just got something interesting we're waiting for. I think it's going to be very interesting what we've got ahead of us. This is the big thing, though. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. And here we are. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Las Vegas for round number 3 of FRLT Assist Season 7. And it's a good getaway from Polster to Daniel Mass into turn 1. He leads away on those medium tires. Oh my god, there is a car climbing on top of another one further back. I'm not sure what is going on. Driver has been gone round, and that is Lewin Skiller, who is out of the race already, out of turn 1. Are we going to see a safety car? What's going to happen? So far, nothing. It is just a yellow flag. He's decided to retire. Pascal Gil battling side by side with Portuguese Beast. Portuguese Beast not having a good start there as he drops through the order. That's also Janus Mayboom, who's dropping backwards through the order, down to 16th already off the start. It's not been a good start for himself. Aaron battling with Pascal Gil for position. Apologies there. I don't know which driver it is anymore. Look at this, still side by side. The battle is going on, but ultimately, for now, Pascal Gil stays in front in 6th place over Aaron in 7th. But how long is that going to last for? But it's been a good start from Daniel Mass. Straight away, it's the start that he needed. It's also the start that Gogo Dennis needed as well, up to 11th as well. So it's been a really strong start from himself. I've got to say, really strong start. Up already 4 places, same as Cod Camper, who's also up 7, and Kiki up 6. So it's actually been a really good start. Scorsy down 7, and Janus Mayboom down 7 as well. So it's not been a good start for one side of AZR, but a good start for the other. But Marcos Guerrero keeping up with Daniel Mass for the moment. Are we going to see a move for the lead of the race coming up when the DRS is enabled on number lap 2 this lap? So are we going to see it? What are we going to see happen here? I've got to say, different teams in contention. ESPL in contention, TDR in contention for a podium. We haven't seen these teams in contention yet this season, so I think Las Vegas very much throwing up a different one. Heinze also retires from the race, already 2 retirements. Right at the start, here comes Tua down the inside of Yanni Casares. He's not able to get his front nose in enough. He's not able to do it, and so he's going to have to hold back and hold on to P4 for now as Yannick Casares defends that podium spot of P3, that final step on the podium. But at the moment, it's AZR, ESPL, and SCT. Once again, AZR and SCT both on the podium for another race. And it's again AZR leading another race. For the 3rd time, they're in the lead of a race. And here comes Tua around the outside of Yannick Casares. Trying to make a ballsy move there for 3rd place, trying to do absolutely anything to get that 3rd place there. But look at this. Has Yannick Casares just dropped outside of a second? Has he been able to keep up? Here comes the Portuguese Beast as well, who's battling. Marcos Guerrero takes the lead straight off of the start. Very strong there, straight away with DRS. Portuguese Beast as well, making his way through into P3. So JSR also on the podium. Are we going to see 2 new podium sitters? I can see Cod Camper and Vilis Stauskas battling for position. Pascal Gil as well battling for position. Look at this! Absolute chaos going on. Yannick Casares dropping through the order. Look at this tour again. How he was battling for P3s, down to P6 now. Yannick Casares down to P7, so it's not going well for those two. They've just seemed to go backwards as Aaron, Pascal Gil, and Portuguese Beast go through. And there goes Daniel Mass back up into the lead of the race. Oh my god, 3 wide we have through this through this first sector, through turn 3, indeed. Lucas Cull as well. I've got to say, so far, ESPL are really on the move through the order. They're really pushing for the points this week. Definitely be something for them to do. Lucas Cull also battling his way past Yannick Casares for position, and he's actually been able to do it. And here comes Gogo Dennis as well, who gets past Yannick Casares. SCT having a real struggle. They had it in no assists on Saturday in Belgium. They're having it here in Las Vegas in assists. So from podium down to P10 and P12. It's been a really bad lap. Marcos Guerrero once again retakes the lead of the race. Are we going to see changes further back? We're also seeing that Portuguese Beast is starting to catch up as well to the top 3. So I think we're going to see 2 unlikely teams that I did not think were going to be in the battle here are going to be in the battle for position. Cod Camper having a battle with Yannick Casares. Yannick Casares he's really struggling. He's just dropping through the order. Has he got damage or something on the Williams? I don't see damage. It could be floor damage though, and if it is, you could just see how he's dropping through the order. Shadow as well, getting past Yannick Casares. I think he might just be very rattled with his car. I think he looks quite rattled there, and he's just dropping through the order. His pace has disappeared from P3. He's just dropping down 10 places now from where he was just 2 laps ago. So this has very much been a very poor start for SCT compared to what we've seen. They're third in the championship at the moment, but they don't look like they're third quickest here at Las Vegas. Definitely the dry weather not working for Yannick Casares at the moment. We saw in Monza as well, he seemed to capitalize off of some of the wet conditions, capitalize off of the sort of varying conditions and the tough conditions they were. But here in Las Vegas, he's just definitely not able to work with it, and he's really struggling. Same as Vilius Lastauskas as well. He's also fallen through the pack as well. We're seeing a couple of drivers. Janis Maybone as well, a name that I did not expect to be saying, that's down in 16th and out of the points. He's got wing damage as well, so he's had a really bad start. Down in 16th, he's going to need something big to turn around his race. He doesn't need a lot, but he does need, you know, one mistake from somebody further up front could help him, but at the moment, it's not looking good. But Portuguese Beast, by the way, has caught up to the top 2, and he's right on the back of them. Pascal Gill and Aaron have also caught this. Tua is a bit too far back. He's over a second behind. He's 1.4 seconds behind as Sasoi goes on the attack against Tua for position. Here he goes. Sasoi up to P6 now in this race. And AMS pushing back into a chance once again this evening to actually get somewhere. Shadow as well. Whoa, and a big moment there for Shadow. He's battling once again with Yannick Casares, but he's has to back out and drop down once again. But TDR, and I've got to say TDR, JSR and ESPL all looking far more competitive than they did last week off for this start. Same for also AERT. They're also back to where they were in Belgium, I'd say, as well, when they got that podium, finish, that P3. They're looking sort of back there with Aaron this week. They're very much looking competitive for the podium and possibly even the win. They're up there with the group. Sasoi's also caught up to this front group as well. So AMS is being added to the list. It's 6th team being added, but Tua is just about holding on, which means it is 7 teams all in for a chance, 7 drivers all in for a chance. I think it's looking very interesting. So far, it has just been kept between Daniel Mask and Marcos Guerrero for position at the moment. They're the only 2 who have led, but ESPL have led their first few laps of the season. And it's a first for ESPL this season. They haven't really led at all. So, first time leading, I think it's something nice for them to hold on to. And there goes Cod Camper past Gogo Dennis for position. Yannick Casares. I think Yannick Casares getting his feet again. He's back on his feet a bit more, and you can see he's making moves up 2 places already, and he's pushing back his pace definitely back to where it should be. But now, it's all about this gap. Sasoi hasn't had a good last set today. He struggled a little bit on his tyres. You can see he's dropped back a little bit too much. I don't think he had DRS either. I think that's why he has dropped behind, but he is closing back up again. And he does he have that DRS? No, he doesn't. He's still out of the DRS here. So he's very much struggling to get within that DRS of the drivers in front. Bit of a mistake from Aaron. Might allow him just to get back up in there. I have to say though, the one team I'm interested by a few teams here. One is ESPL and the way they've turned their week around here. You know, their entire campaign leading races in round 3. I did not expect to see that from Marcos Guerrero, and I did not expect to see that from ESPL at all this season. I think very much AZR back to where they... Whoa! And a massive tank slapper into the wall. Very, very close. I have to say, very close for Daniel Mass. Could have gotten damage quite easily there to his car, but he's just gotten away with it, I think. AZR back to where they are. JSR looking very strong as well. They're looking where they should be. In all fairness, they are very much looking where they should be at the moment. But look at this further back. Tua battling with Sasoi for position. Get through the corners okay. They just about do. And Sasoi just about sticks in front. While his teammate, Gugo Dennis, slowly catches up. He's almost within a second here. Finley as well gets past Cold Camper. Aaron battling with Pascal Gill. He's been quiet for the last few laps, he's made up a place and up into P4. And it's been a good start for himself as he makes up the place to P4. AERT back in the battle for a podium. Round 1, podium. Round 3, round 2, they looked very far off the pace. They looked out of place very much. But round 3, they're back on for it. And I mean, if AERT turn in a second podium in 3 races, I think definitely we're talking about maybe not championship contention, but definitely third in the championship. Definitely contender for third, especially the way that SET are quite far behind. OMB look okay this week again. OMB, the sort of team, I don't want to, no offense to OMB, but they've kind of been a bit mid this season. I think in performance, they've not looked great. They've been a bit out of it, I think. I think they've very much been the team that's out of it. Let me invite COD Camper back into the race. Let me invite COD Camper quick. And Daniel Mas again is battling with Portuguese Beast a little bit there. But yeah, OMB look a bit mid off for this season start. The first 2 races haven't gone their way. They've not looked good in the first 2 races. They've looked a bit off. They've had Pascal Gill's been there a bit, but not podium contending, not like they were last season. I'm not sure what's happened to them. Championship leaders into the final race. They lost out 4th in the championship. Start of this campaign, down in 5th. They're not where they want to be out of these first 2 races. They've very much not had the start they needed. And they just look like they're a bit under pressure to perform this season. They just so far haven't been where they should be. No wins, no podiums out of these first 2 races. Chance of podium here in Las Vegas. It's very much, I think, the closest OMB have been to the podium. I think it's the closest they've been to the podium so far this season. Out of the first sort of 3 races. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Looking to the lead. The lead looks again. The lead looks interesting. Ferreira's as usual. Portuguese Beast trying to follow through with Daniel Mas, and he does. And can. Oh, Aaron also tries to follow through on that. He also tries to follow that group through. Not able to, but there goes Marcos Guerrero. He feels like a pit stop is needed already into this race, so quite early on, onto lap 9 out of 25. Here comes Sassoy as well on Pascal Gil. He's waited for a little bit. I think Yanni Casares also comes in, and there goes Sassoy past Pascal Gil for P4. Again, OMB not looking where they should be, and Yannis Maybone battling with Lucas Cull for position. He's got to be careful. He's on the hard tyres, remember, as well. So that's why he hasn't had such a good start. He's on those hard tyres. So they're doing the strat that they did last time on the hard tyres. They're doing the reverse strat from, I think, what we're seeing from a lot of drivers. They're doing the reverse strat here. A couple of drivers, Finley and Yaz Maybone. Only 2 that have actually started on the hard tyres. The rest are all on mediums, so they're doing the reverse. But damage for Yaz Maybone, because he's dropped far behind. He's 3.5 seconds behind Gogo Dennis in front. Eek. That's really going to hurt him. That sort of pit stop. That isn't pit stop distance, but it's in the pits actually doing the pit stop distance. Oh, and Tua is round. And his week goes from bad to worse. And TDR dropping through the order, and again, it's been a struggle for TDR tonight. You know, they've gone from really strong in qualifying. They were inside of the top 5 quickest teams in qualifying as well. Now they're way out of it, and it's looked like a tough one. Same for another team I have to mention is actually these guys in the Alpines, UFRT. They just don't look anywhere at the moment on the grid. They just don't look anywhere right now. Daniel Mas, Aaron, and Pascal Gil all into the pits. They all feel undercut as the way to go. And onto the hard tyres goes Daniel Mas. We're going to see Aaron and Pascal Gil also swap to those hard tyres. But yeah, I think we've seen a very strange A very strange grid indeed. I think we've very much seen a strange grid tonight. A very changeable grid. Nonetheless, I think that's really been something we've seen quite a lot, is a very changeable grid from the previous two races. It's not been AMS and AZR quickest. You know, they were quickest in qualifying, but race-wise, it's kind of been mixed with ESPL up there. AMS has some decent pace. You know, we've also seen JSR have some good pace in there. You know, we've seen sort of a couple of teams with some decent pace, but in all of it, it's been an interesting one for, I think, a lot of teams. I think it's been a very interesting one for a couple of teams at the moment. I think, again, AZR, I mentioned about last week, the gap between teammates, P1 and P8, in same result in the first two races of the season. And in round number 3, they have a bigger gap. So is this gap going to really hurt their teammates and hurt their championship? Maybe, especially right now, AMS is a lot closer together on track. Daniel Mas gets past Marcos Guerrero for P11. So the undercut does look good. Sasoy continues with Finley. Both of those two continuing on the worn medium tyres. They think saving tyre wear is the way to go. That looks like what AMS's choices. Gogo Dennis has gone on to the hard tyres. It looks like CodeCamper with a 10-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Again, another driver suffers that, and CodeCamper just retires from the race. He doesn't even want to fight it for the rest of the race. He just retires in AERT, one side of the garage. Again, let down a bit in this race. Not looking good indeed. Very much not looking good in this case. Daniel Mas, again, he's found himself at the lead of this. Scorsy as well retires. So it's a complete retirement from CET. No finishes for CET. Their season just gets even rougher. No points so far in the opening 3 races. And one driver down already for JSR and one driver down also for AERT. Not looking good at the moment. Definitely not looking good at all. Based off of how they're doing, they don't look good based off of their current performance. Let's see, how low is Daniel Mas going to go? Because he's kind of got an issue now. These two are right behind. He's got two drivers really close to the back of him. I think we're definitely going to see Marcos Guerrero go past. And I think we're also going to see Aaron as well. And for Daniel Mas, it's not what he wants. Dropping down 2 places as well makes it's quite a bit harder to make up 2 places around this track. So maybe Daniel Mas not looking as good on the hard tyres. A little bit close for Aaron there. But again, Finley and Sasoy going for another lap. Finley's on the hard tyres, but Sasoy's on the mediums. I'm not sure what this strategy is from AMS going long into this race. Very long into this race. Gogo Dennis, by the way, down in P12. He's very much in no man's land right now. He's catching up to Pascal Gill. And the drivers in front, he is 100% catching him. He's actually catching him quite quickly, about 6/10 the last lap. But he's still not there. He hasn't got any pressure from behind, and that's, I think, going to be a key thing here, is he is still in the points, even though he's at the back of this group. He's still in the points. There's still 2 points at least for AMS right now. At the moment, when AMS would take 17 points home, AZR would be taking 13 on top of the 6, so they'd be taking 19 points. So they would go from being 8 points in front to 10 points in the championship lead. So at the moment, they're not looking too bad. Giannis Mobom is not actually catching the front 2 at the moment, by the way. He's kind of about equal and actually dropping bits of time. Even from the last lap, he's actually dropped about a 10th or 2 from the previous lap. So the front 2 definitely showing some really strong pace, because at the moment, Sasoy's being dragged along by a hard tyre runner of Finley, who's going very long, and he's been very smart. And Sasoy now pulls into the pits. He feels it's definitely time to pull into the pits. The lead of the group is Marcos Guerrero, by the way. That's where we're really looking to. So where is Sasoy going to come out? And we can see a few others. Vilius Lastauskas and Lucas Cull go into the pits. Where's Sasoy coming out? That's the question. Sasoy comes out behind his teammate. So in all of this, AMS haven't had a great stop here. P9, P10 from the AMS duo. It's not a great stop. Again, maybe strategy letting them down a bit this week again. I think that looks like sort of very similar. They don't look up to pace from last week. I have to say, very good race from Gogo Dennis, indeed. Since he's, you know, climbed his way through the pack. But it's not been, again, strategy. It looks a little bit weak from AMS so far this season. They look like they've just been a bit behind of the curve of the rest of the grid. We've only had one race winner this season. That's been AZR in the opening 2 races. We've never had a team win all of the first 3 races of the season. We've never had that in assists. So this might be a first. It might be a first if we see that. So might we see that? Might we see AZR claim all of the first 3 wins of the season and continue on an incredibly strong run in their campaign to, I think, 8 wins. 8 or 9 wins, I think it would be. I think it would be 8 wins in 14 races, which would be absolutely insane as a stat. I've got to say, it would be absolutely insane as a statistic. Now Sasoi chasing the next group in front. Pascal Gill looking for a move on Yannick Casares. This is sort of what is going to allow, this is very much what's going to allow Sasoi and Gogo Dennis to actually catch up, because you can see that gap drop way back below 2 seconds to 1.8. Portuguese Beast, he's still attacking, he's still going for it, he's still trying to make a move on Aaron. So this is an interesting one. Portuguese Beast looks like he's got some pace over the AERT driver, but the AERT driver, I've got to give it to Aaron here. He's placing his car beautifully in front of Portuguese Beast at the moment. He very much is. He's actually having a real go at this at the moment to work, to make this work and to hold on to the position. Of course, we're down to 16 drivers left on the track. We don't have 20. We started with 20. We're down to 16 now here on lap 14. So it's been an interesting one. Definitely been an interesting one. Indeed. But as we watch on, there goes Daniel Mass back up into the lead of the race. Into the provisional lead, I should really say. See, mate. Janus Mayboom now pulls into the pits, of course, has wing damage, and it's a 10-second time penalty for Janus Mayboom speeding in the pit lane. And that is going to really hurt Janus Mayboom. It's pretty much impossible to gain 10 seconds back. And look, front wing change as well. Look at this, he's dropping through the order. He's going to be last. When he pulls out of the pits, he's going to be quite far behind last place as well. He's going to be a couple of seconds behind last place. Let's see, where does he come out? Comes out over 3 seconds behind 15th on fresh mediums. Can he catch? Because it's about 7 seconds between him and 14th. It's about 7.5 seconds between him and the points at the moment. So he's got a long way to go in this race. In 10 laps, that's a lot of time to gain. And I don't think he'll get higher than, at the moment, I'd say 10th. 10th would very much be the limit. But he's come into the pits. But still, Finley, the only driver yet to stop. Here comes Aaron. He's got a Marcos Guerrero. Same as Portuguese Beast. It's going absolutely insane. Sasoi as well has caught this pack out of nowhere. He's just been able to absolutely fly past this group. He's very quiet in this race, but he's been able to make it work. Are we going to see it go 4 wide? What are we going to see? Into the next corner. Sasoi and Marcos Guerrero side by side. Marcos Guerrero gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's going to rule him out. Finley finally comes into the pits. The gap almost now at a second between Portuguese Beast and Daniel Mass in the lead of the race. Aaron pulls into P4, but absolute chaos. Marcos Guerrero drops through. Pascal Gill as well, remember, has a penalty as well, so that's going to hurt him. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's very much going to be an interesting one. 1 too soon. Speedy says, let's go SET. 1 too soon. Maybe we'll see. At the moment, maybe. I have to say, Finley's not come out too bad. I mean, compared to Janus Mayboom, he's come out really far in front. He's kept that gap, so he's been very impressive on the hard tyres. I've got to say, Finley, absolute insane pace on the hard tyres and longevity he was able to put into them. He's now on fresher mediums. He's jumped this entire group. So I think at the moment, I think we'll see points. Definitely, I think when it's 100% we're going to see points for Janis Maybom. I think we're definitely going to see points, but I think he's going to get past Steph this lap, but he's got a long 6 seconds, and that will take at least 2 laps. So we're talking about maybe lap 18, lap 17, lap 18 before he catches up to the next group. Portuguese Beast gets past. Sasoi also battling to get past Daniel Mas. This is championship battle here, by the way. This is championship lead we're talking about because, of course, AMS at the moment, 13 points top of the 7, 20 points. They are gaining at the moment on AZR. Look to the inside. Whoa, contact between two around the outside from Sasoi. Holy, there he goes into the lead. What a move from Sasoi. I have to give utmost respect for that move. That was so brilliant. I've never seen somebody make a move in Las Vegas Turn 1 like that. Swinging from the inside, getting blocked on the inside, swinging to the right, late breaking it and making it work. I've never seen that before. And I've got to say, that was one hell of a move for position there as well. I really have to say that. That was one hell of a move indeed. And up into P2, and ultimately now gaining on the championship leaders 2 points on top of the 2. That's 4 points closer now from 8 points. I think it's going to come down just down to 4 points. AZR still lead the championship though, unless Sasoi can gain a place. Gogo Dennis will gain a place as well. He'll also gain a point, so they could realistically, they won't take the championship lead yet. We're going to be waiting to see. Hope SET get big points. We'll wait and see. We'll have to wait and see because Yannick Casares is going for P5 and Finley's also getting in it, which could mean he could be up to P7 in the round. So it could be some good points indeed for SET. Definitely turning around their evening. But Sasoi, is he looking for another attempt into Turn 1? Is he looking for another late breaking opportunity? Daniel Mas, though, it hasn't looked like he's been able to come back at Sasoi yet. Definitely looking like Daniel Mas maybe struggling a bit on his tyres. So are we going to see this become a JSR AMS battle? We still got to think about it. Janis Maybom, 10-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane again, and he retires from the race. AZR suffer their first retirement of the season. And Janis Maybom is out, and that's the 5th driver who retires from tonight's race. I've got to say pain. Pain for AZR on one side of the garage, because that's ruling out any chance of points now. Very much is ruling out any chance of points for AZR, except with Daniel Mas. So at the moment, but even that's questionable because he is struggling to keep up. And he is dropping a bit of time here and there. He's pushing a bit more now, but he's struggling. He's struggling. He is definitely struggling a little bit in all of this. So will he lose more places? That's the big question. That is very much the big question. Can Aaron get him at the end? Not many laps to go, but a 5th retirement in this race. AZR crumbling a little bit, it looks like, in their championship attack. And there goes Sasoi up into the lead of the race. AMS, for I believe this would be the first time properly this season they've actually led a race. So let's see, can they take it to the flag? Can they achieve their 20th win in assists? This is the question. Can they achieve their 20th win in assists? This is the big question now, because we can all agree that, you know, AMS have, you know, they have 19 wins and assists. 19 wins. This is their 49th race, and they could be making it their 20th win in 49 races, which is unbelievable. Quite frankly, it is unbelievable. 20 wins in 20 wins in 49 races. It's just nobody has matched that. Not even AZR. They're nowhere close. AZR have actually competed in more seasons. Season 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. AMS are competing in their 5th season this season. AZR has done season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So also 5th season as well for AZR. Just want to point out, from VEL to AZR, their 5th season. So both of these teams have as much experience as each other. I just want to point that out to everybody. Both teams have 5 seasons of experience, are in their 5th season of experience in FRLT, in assists. So we're going to be waiting to see who can do best. Of course, AZR will remember that dominance from the past. They'll remember that dominance back in Season 3 and Season 4. They'll remember it. They'll remember it, I think, quite well. But will they be able to turn it around? Because at the moment, the championship, it looks like it is going down the drain at the moment. It very much looks like it's going to disappear. It's 18 points on top of the 6, which will actually gain another point, so 7. 25 points for AMS at the moment over 13, so it is going to be AMS back in the championship lead and will be the team to have the longest gap between championship leads, as Kiki also retires from this race. 6th retirement, lots of retirements. Finley down the inside of Marcos Guerrero, 5 on his fresh mediums. He hasn't got long left, and he's still got to get past 4 more drivers if he wants to win. Can SET become the 2nd driver to win? Will we see it? That's the big question. Will we actually see it? Or will we see... Who is it? Realistically, at the moment, Daniel Mas, by the way, dropping just on the edge of that DRS at the moment. He's just slightly outside of it by the smallest amount right now. Smallest amount. Oh, and another mistake for Daniel Mas. Another mistake. Oh my god. Another mistake. He's going to be in Aaron's sights. He is very much in Aaron's sights now. And there goes Aaron past Daniel Mas. And for the first time this season, AZR might not be on the podium for the first time in Season 7 in assists. Yannick Casares gets past Marcos Guerrero. It's not going well for Marcos Guerrero at the moment. He's got a 3-second time penalty. He will finish 8th. As it stands, he will be 8th. It's not what he really wanted at the end of the day. Is he going to battle though for position here? Is he going to send it? No, he's not. He's going to hold back. Gogo Dennis as well, by the way. We've got to point him out. He's also pushing for that 7th at least. But Aaron's far behind. Still, Finley, by the way, still at 2 seconds behind. 4 laps. I don't think he's going to get a chance to win. Podium is definitely on, I think, for SET. Maybe a 2nd podium. Is it going to be SET's 2nd podium, or is it going to be AERT's 2nd podium? That's the big question. Whose 2nd podium is it going to be, AERT or STT's? As Steph also retires from the race. UFRT and CET completely retired, with one side of the garage for AZR, AERT and JSR also retired. Unbelievable. 7 retirements this evening. I cannot believe that. To see 7, it's the first time in a long time I've seen that many retirements. So it's going to be interesting. Honestly, it's going to be very interesting to see. Can Finley catch? The big issue he's got right now is the DRS zones. That's the real problem he's facing, because he's dropping about 3-4 tenths a lap to the DR, just purely because of the DRS zone. So at the moment, he's on his own here. And we're about to go on to lap 22, which means he will just have simply 4 laps to catch to make overtakes. And he is catching well, but he's just not catching enough at the moment. It is just a little, it's just not enough. But the big question out in the lead, though, at the moment, on to lap 22, we go. Gogo Dennis, by the way, fighting his way past Yannick Casares for P6. So Yannick Casares is still under attack from the AMS driver. But still, the big question, is it going to be Sassoy who wins in Las Vegas? Is it going to be AMS to take their 20th victory in assists? Or is it going to be Beast, Portuguese Beast specifically, for JSR, who takes their first victory in FRLT and adds their name to another team who has won in assists? Is it going to be another team added to the list of victors over the 7 seasons? So far, we haven't had a new victor in Season 7, a new team to win. We haven't seen that as of yet. We haven't seen a new team get a podium either this season. I just want to point that out. No new podiums for any new teams this season. So that is really anything we're going to look for. Although there aren't many new teams on this assists grid, and JSR and CET, they're the only 2 new teams on the grid, so only a fifth of the grid is actually new. Still following along. Sasoi still leading. AMS really, I've got to say, I'm proud of AMS this race because they've gone through the first 3 races of the season, getting close, taking pole, and doing everything they can just to not win. And this is the first time we're actually seeing AZR kind of crawling a little bit in a race. Off of the podium, crawling. Looks like Finley is also going to get Daniel Mass and Aaron. But still, I mean, it's the first time this season, I think, we're really seeing, I think it's the first time we're really seeing AZR not be on top. And it's the first time I think we're seeing that AZR are making mistakes. Daniel Mass really defending his position as well. He's defending it with everything he's got. I think this is what we're really going to see. Is what we're going to see here. Look at this. He's actually defending this P4 for everything he's got, because it's only 1 point difference between P4 P5, but it's performance. That's the problem, because it's another point they'll drop to AMS in the Constructors' Championship if he drops another place, because I think they already have consoled themselves that they are going to lose the championship lead. They are going to lose the championship lead. The reigning champions are not going to be in the lead. But there's still a lot of questions going around. Who's going to do what? How is everybody going to do? Heading down the field, though, as we watch on. Still, lap 23. 3 laps to go. We're about to turn that into just 2 laps to go. And still, Finley is yet to make a position up on Daniel Mass, by the way. Still, he's waiting. Going on to lap 24. He's not had a lap to get past the AZR driver. It's so clear he's a lot quicker, but it's also quite clear his tyres are starting to struggle a little bit more now. He hasn't got that same advantage. Otherwise, if we saw what we saw earlier was just he was clearly just blasting past every team. But at the moment, he's not able to do that, and he's holding on to this 5th place. And thing is, the worst part is every meter he goes is 1 meter less, especially this late in the race, is 1 meter less, is 1 corner less, 1 sector less of time he has to make the move and make an overtake. And I'm starting to feel like maybe the podium is off for Finley. I don't think he is going to get the podium. I think P4 is definitely possible. Podium, I think, is a little bit far away for the moment. I do feel like it is just a little bit too far out of reach. Same for Daniel Mass as well. I think also the podium isn't on for him either, unless he has a really monstrous final lap, because he does have Finley all over the back of him. So if Finley gets past here, I think this is where we're going to see a change. Are we going to see a change? Indeed, that's the question. Are we going to see a change? I think we're going to see a change of the lead, because Portuguese Beast takes the lead of the race, but I think he's taken Sasoi's bait a little bit too easily there, because now Sasoi follows and it's going to have the DRS. Sasoi's made a bit of made a mistake there, because he's actually knocked into the wall. Still, it's all on. The battle for the win and the battle for the podium. Here comes Finley around the outside. Look at this! 3 wide, down into turn 1. But who's going to lose out here? This is the real question. Who is going to lose out? I think for now it is going to be Daniel Mass, as he drops down to 5th in this race. It is going to be very interesting. It is going to be interesting. Look at this. Daniel Mass, though, he's not willing to give up this podium so easily. And this P4, he's not willing to give it up. Still battling with Finley. He's doing everything he can to hold on to it, but it looks like AZR might just have to take an okay result and a tough result in Las Vegas in round 3. I think at the moment they're just going to have to take it nonetheless. And there's not much I think they can really do at the moment, but we've got to look to the lead, because there is the real battle going on there. Beast versus Sasoi for the race lead. Who is going to win? But Sasoi's going to have the DRS for one final time in this race. Look at this. Beast defending with everything he can. DRS is to Sasoi, side by side. DRS activated for Sasoi. He's going to just get out in front. Still steaming ahead. And into the final section of corners. Who is going to lead? It's going to be a very close one. Finley takes P3 as well. He's onto the podium. But here comes Sassoy. He has gapped Portuguese Beast, and it has been months and months of waiting for AMS. And Sassoy wins in Las Vegas with Beast in second. Then it's Aaron! Aaron! In third! He just scrapes through into third. 82 thousandths of a second ahead of Finley. Then it is Daniel Mass in fifth. Holy. Oh my god, what have we just seen? Oh my god. I think that is some heartbreak for SET as well. I've got to say, I think there's some heartbreak there for SET. They just miss out on the podium, and there it is. AMS win. For the 20th time, they are the first team to reach 20 wins in FRLT. They're the first and only team to do it. And congratulations to them. It's the biggest gap as well between a team winning one race and winning their next. It's the biggest gap we've seen in FRLT from last year in May 2025 all the way till March 2026. Shocking, 10 months. But let's go through the order of the grid. It's Sassoy who wins from 9th, followed by Beast, Aaron, Finley, Daniel Maz, Gogo Dennis, Yanni Casares, Tua, Pascal Gill, Marcos Guerrero, Shadow, Lucas Carl, Villius. Then our times being Steph, Kiki, Yanis Mayboom, Cogcamper, Shawsey, Heinze, and Lewin Skiller. So with that, that is what a race indeed. What a race that we have seen. Absolute insanity, honestly. But it is celebrations for some teams. It is definitely celebrations for some teams. I've got to say, it's definitely going to be celebrations for some teams indeed, because of course it is a massive day for some of these guys. I mean, I did not think we were going to see that. Interviews. So, interviews. I have to say, it's gonna be very interesting to see for the interviews. Okay, so we are ready for our interviews for round number 3. I've got to say, incredibly interesting. Let me just bring up the application. Let's make sure everything does work. Indeed, we don't want the interviews to be messed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Sassoy. Oh, hello, Sassoy. Welcome to the interview box. Congratulations. It's been about a year since we last saw you win a race. And it is, of course, AMS's 20th win of the season. Well, not of just the season. It's of all time. How does it feel to win in Las Vegas?
I mean to say it feels good would be kind of normal. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a good race. I can't say anything else. Someone told me that you sort of had something against our strategy, but apparently it backfired towards you. So, but yeah, that was the whole plan for us going long, because I kind of knew there were gonna be DRS train at the front. I already had experience in other leagues at Vegas that this happened. So carrying long was the only option to make overtakes possible, especially starting from the back ninth place. But yeah, it just worked out. Last lap was kind of stressful because I didn't expect the McLaren to overtake me. I thought he played the dirty air card, which kind of worked at the start of the lap because I had no grip. But yeah, at the end, I think I had more battery than him, and I was just be able to pull it off by the main straight.
Of course, I think it's one of those I think it's one of those sort of tough ones. I think definitely, and it's sort of I think a very interesting race for yourselves at AMS. I mean, great recovery from you yourself and your teammate as well. I mean, you guys weren't in a prime spot in qualifying, so sort of just explain sort of what I have a guess of why you guys qualified so low, but sort of what happened during qualifying.
Well, kind of two things happened. I think I can speak for my teammate here, but trying to go as late as possible. I think I kind of blocked him in the pit because he was coming in and I was going out of the pit. So I think I kind of screwed him over. Then myself, well, on the strip, I saw an ass coming fly past other people. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe he's on a lap. He wasn't. So I had to do the whole lap with the Haas in front. At the start, I tried to get out of the slipstream, but by the end, I was just faster than him, and I couldn't do much more. I even overtook him in the final corner, but yeah, kind of screwed up everything. But strategy made it back. I don't think there's gonna be anything. I won't do anything that's the ask because realistically, it's always kind of confusion, especially if it rains as the start of qualifying and everyone is getting the laps at the end. So yeah, probably an incident that can happen.
Mm. Final question: do you feel like you can carry this into future races? You know, this victory, of course, because next week is Mexico. You guys have AMS from previous seasons have a very good record at Mexico. Do you feel like this is definitely going to be a track where you guys are gonna do well, or do you think, or are you just kind of a bit anxious and waiting to see how it goes?
May I be honest with you? I have no absolute idea because not been playing the game a lot. I also dropped from manager from MS quite a while ago, and yeah, I stopped work on real life, and I can't really stay with the game. I don't know our pace, so I'm completely blind. I won't be there 100%. I can tell you already. But yeah, I have no idea about Mexico. I think we're gonna be good if we have some drivers that I think are fast there. But generally speaking, I think we're gonna be fighting at the top like always.
Mm. Well, thank you for joining for this interview. For I think it's the first time I've interviewed you since has to be about season 2.
Probably
It's been a
because
very very long time.
I haven't driven much more after that.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, of course, on the great victory. I think it's personally your 11th win as well. So, another victory added to it. It's your either 10th or your 11th. So, big victory either way. But yeah, congratulations and thank you for joining for the interview.
Thank you as well for hosting, Eric. Epic.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Well, that was AMS. That's how they felt. That's how they felt, and that's the way it went. So let's pull in JSR now. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the interview.
Hey.
For the first time of the season as well. For the first time for
Yeah.
JSR. Great podium. How does it feel for the first podium of the season?
To be honest, I was surprised on the first race how bad we did, but yeah, it's just I'm happy to be here. I feel like we got a bit unlucky. I'm not really happy with the performance because I know Luon could have done a lot better, but he just got really unlucky on lap 1. Oh, I just hear myself on the stream. 1 second. Yeah, no, just very decent for Portuguese Beast. I'm happy with how he did. I think for him it was really 50-50 on what he should have done on the final lap. If he overtook him, well, then what happened here happened. And if he didn't overtake him, I feel like Sassoy could have gapped him. So in the end, it was just 50-50. But I'm happy with the P2.
Mm. From that, of course, bit of disappointment. You guys didn't get the win. You guys almost got pole as well. It was a quite strange qualifying course, but from the race, I think sort of from that, what would you say from sort of the race? Bit disappointed that you didn't get the win, or do you think this is just really it's just a step in the right direction?
Well, compared to our other performances this season, of course, it's a great step in the right direction. However, yeah, I know we can do a lot better. So there is still a little bit of a disappointment, like I already said with Luon. But no, it's still a decent job. I'm happy with Portuguese Beast for sure. I think his strategy could have been the right one, but yeah, Sassoy just absolutely nailed it in the end. But yeah, decent job in the end.
Final question: do you think going into the sort of next race, it's Mexico, and sort of you got I think Mexico and Austria coming up next for the next two races? Do you feel like these are going to be tracks that you guys can really lean into? Maybe we'll see you at the front again, pushing for either victory or podiums.
Well, I know Mexico has been a track we've had a bit of a history with in JSR. It's not really been our most lucky track, I must say. But, we just signed a few new drivers that are looking really fast, and I'm sure that we can definitely compete back at the front again. Austria, we're definitely looking confident on. But, yeah, it's just going to be a bit, indecisive on who we use and yeah, what's going to happen, of course.
Well, thank you for joining me here for the interviews, and best of luck to
thank you very much.
yourselves.
Yes.
Well, with that is the interviews over and done for round number 3 of the season. I've got to say, what an interesting race it was indeed. I have to say it was one of the most interesting races we've had this season. I think round 1 was very interesting. I think round 2 has proven to be I think very much round 1 and round 2 is finding out where everybody is. I think round 2 was a bit of a hiccup from like AERT. I think they fell out of position. This race, it's clear to see that they've kind of come back into it, a podium. But with that is sadly the end of the end of the stream. We've reached the end. We've reached the final part. Well, I'm just gonna give my rundown, to be honest, from today. I used to do this. I stopped doing it this season. I'm not sure why. It's a tough one. I think AMS, of course, back on top. I think definitely best team on the grid in this race, and I think same for last race as well. They were realistically the best team as well. So I think they've shown in back-to-back races they are the closer and more consistent team than AZR. Taking the championship lead and stuff. I think it's very clear to see how it's kind of flipped, where AZR and AMS were quite equal in round 1, and now they've come to, they went to Monza and now they've come to Las Vegas, and it's kind of swapped around a bit. AMS have been a bit better. AMS made a mistake. That second driver made a mistake at the end of last race, which cost them points. And I think this week, though, no mistakes from the AMS duo. And that's very worrying. That shows, I think, for AZR, they should be quite worried that no mistakes, and that's the performance you get from a team that hasn't made any mistakes. AERT, I think, back on the podium. Interesting to see. I think clearly Monza was maybe just a one-off for them. Just a poor race. But definitely back in it. Back in the battle with SET. I think definitely third is on the cards for them. I think first and second, a little bit far away at the moment. I think especially second is just a bit too far up the road for now. but maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe in the next race, maybe in Mexico, they pull out something a bit special. But from previous races I've seen AERT in, when I think we raced in Mexico in Season 5, they weren't great. So we'll have to wait and see. I think, again, SET back on it, back on podium pace. That, I think, round 1 stumble a bit. I think they've kind of come back a bit. Unlucky for Finley right at the line to miss out on the podium, but still very, very close. A team that I was surprised by, I think there was kind of 3 teams I was surprised by. One was ESPL, qualifying pace, magnificent. Start of the race as well, really good. But then when they swapped to the hard tyres, they just couldn't seem to get it together. But stronger race all round, much stronger from ESPL. Another team I was surprised by was UFRT. They couldn't get it together. They just couldn't get it together. It's one of those ones where they just couldn't. I'm not sure why, but they just couldn't do it. I'm not sure why they just couldn't do it. I'm not sure what's happened to them from round 1, but round 2 and 3 has been really poor from them, and I think there needs to be a turnaround in form. I think in the next race, or I think they can very much count top 5 in the championship. It looks like it will disappear. Another team, I think AZR as well. Jannes Mayboom, very tough day, quite bad day from Jannes Mayboom. Pace just wasn't there. Teammate Daniel Mass, great pole. Of course, a point for pole, great there. End of the race, it fell apart. Bit too much pushing early on, but I think very much one-man band in the end when it came down to this race. JSR as well, very interesting to see. I think they're also another team that's up there who've turned around this season very much. They very much have improved. But with that, that is the end of the stream. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also click on the notification bell to know about all the content we do, from short streams and videos. Make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below in the description, and also the same for the Discord server link. That is also down below. Make sure to join that to see all the action behind the scenes. But with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to, again, leave a like and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great week. We'll be back on Saturday for round number 2 of No Assists, which goes to Monza. No Assists is a little bit further behind. We had some problems with it in round 1, so it got delayed by a week, so it is a week behind. So this week on Saturday is Monza. So make sure to go and do that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very shortly. Bye.
Go!